Hello future officers, how are you? I hope you're doing fine. Another day, another video, and this video will be decoding the essential dimensions of the ships, the terms, what they are all. So before I start, I would like to quote one thing. Which goes like this: that to make our tomorrow better, the best that we can do is to put in best efforts every time. So let's start this video with the topic essential terms and definitions. As you can see in the picture, what we'll be talking about. Now before we go into the dimension, we need to know why do we have to know these dimensions, how does it play any sort of role in our shipping or navigation or anything. The first thing is port operation. You should know your ship dimension. After that only you can enter a particular port. You can decide which port you have to go in, which port you cannot. Second thing is canal transit. Same reason. If the canal is not deep enough to hold your ship's draft, or your canal is not wide enough to let your ship in, you cannot go in. For cargo calculations, for stability purposes, in all of these things, your ship dimensions play an important role. All of these information are given in the stability booklet of the ship. Okay, pilot card, wheelhouse poster, and cargo plans, and dry dock drawings as well. So you need to know these dimensions accurately, not just you cannot go with approximate this much. Okay, you need to know precisely what is the dimension of your ship. The first is the length overall. As you can see, you can get from the word what is length overall. Length overall is the horizontal distance between the forwardmost part of the ship to the aftermost part of the ship. If you see this pen, let us consider this is the forward part of the ship and this is the aft part of the ship. So the horizontal distance between these 2 points is the length overall. Okay, so horizontal distance between these 2 points is the length overall. With the help of this, we can decide which berth is good enough for us to fit for dry docking plan. Okay, which is the dock that we can let our ship to rest on the blocks. Okay, for canal restriction, which canal is good enough to accommodate our length of the ship. For port documentation and pilotage forms. Okay, port document, these are all paperworks. Okay, next comes the length between perpendicular. We have length overall. Now this is length between perpendicular. Let me make it straight to you. Length between perpendicular is the horizontal distance between the forward perpendicular and the aft perpendicular. This is very basic. Now the question comes, what is forward perpendicular and what is aft perpendicular? Let me take you to this. Okay, if you see this stem, okay, this is the water line. Stem is the forwardmost part of the ship, and this is the summer load line. Okay, summer load line, or you can say summer draft. So these things, the point where these things intersect, the stem, the water line, and the summer load line. From this place, we drew a perpendicular like this, perpendicular to the water line, not to the stem, perpendicular to the water line. This is known as the forward perpendicular. If you understand, this is if this is the stem, this is the water line, this is the summer load line. The point where these three lines intersect, we drew a perpendicular to the water line, perpendicular to the water line, not perpendicular to the depth of the ship. To the depth of the ship, perpendicular to the water line. That is the forward perpendicular. If you find it difficult to understand, do mention in the comment box. I'll give you a better clarification. Okay, now this is the aft perpendicular. It is generally easier to understand. Aft perpendicular is a perpendicular again to the water line, not to anything else, to the water line, which is taken from the center of the rudder stalk. If the rudder is over here, this is the center of the rudder stalk. We take the aft perpendicular. Okay. Now we have we have LOA, we have LBP. Why do we need LBP if we have LOA? Because LOA is basically for going for berthing or for canal transit, but LBP is basically for calculation, hydrostatic calculation. We use LBP, used in stability calculation, hydrostatic tables and curves, relates to underwater buoyancy. Whenever you will be given any question in exam related to stability, they would not mention the length overall of the ship, but they'll mention the length between perpendiculars. Now the depth of the vessel. What is the depth of the vessel? As you can see in the image, depth of the vessel. This is the bottommost keel plate. Bottommost keel plate. And this is the topmost deck, that is the freeboard deck. Okay, the distance between the horizontal distance between these 2 points is the depth of the vessel. Okay, nothing else, and it is taken at the midship. So not the vertical distance. Vertical distance between the keel plate, bottommost keel plate, and the freeboard deck is the depth of the vessel, and it is taken at the midship. I hope I have made myself clear. Next is the draft of the ship. What is the draft of the ship? As in this was the depth. Okay, this was the depth. This was the depth. Now the draft is vertical distance between the bottommost keel plate to the waterline. Okay, this is the depth, this is the bottommost keel plate to the waterline, this is draft, and it is at 3 positions: forward, aft, and at midship. And it is critical for so many reasons: passage planning, under keel clearance, stability purpose, whatnot. Next thing is the freeboard. Now, freeboard, as I said, considering this is the bottommost keel plate, this is the draft, this is the depth, this is the depth of the vessel. So this thing, the distance between the waterline and this freeboard deck, the topmost deck plate, is the freeboard. That's why it is named freeboard deck. The distance between the waterline and the topmost deck is the freeboard, and it is again taken at the midship. It is again taken at the midship, nothing else, no one else in the midship. You see, is the vertical distance from the waterline to the deck line at the side, usually at the summer load line condition. This freeboard is basically taken at the summer load line condition, and it might vary depending on the draft of the ship. It is not constant, it changes. You know all these things. But remember, more freeboard, more safety margin, and greater reserve buoyancy. Reserve buoyancy is this. I'll help you understand this, what reserve buoyancy is. Okay. Considering that this is a bottle, and if you can see, there is water filled inside it. Okay, so the leftover space in which the gases are filled, which is empty, which is not filled with water. Okay, this is reserve buoyancy. In ship, it is generally water is outside, but to make it easier for you to understand, let us consider that water is outside till this place. Okay, you can see the water line over here. So till this depth is this bottle drowned, and the depth of the vessel which is not drowned into the water is this much. So this box like structure, volumetric structure, this is known as the reserve buoyancy. Okay, I hope you understood, but if you did not understand, please do mention in the comment box. So next topic is the breadth extreme. As you can see, breadth extreme is the extremest breadth of the vessel measured at the midship. It is taken from the outermost shell plating. Okay, you see, I have given you a diagram. So this is the outermost shell plating. So the width of the vessel at midship, not anywhere else, at midship, is the breadth extreme. And whenever they ask you what is the beam of the vessel, you mention the breadth extreme. And it includes shell plating, fenders, rubber bar. This thickness is also included in this. Next time I'll explain you what it is. Okay, this is the maximum ship width, outermost point, port side to outermost point, starboard side. Let us consider that this is port, this is starboard, the outermost point is the breadth extreme. Now, if I'm talking about breadth extreme, how can I miss out on breadth molded? Breadth molded is nothing. It is just like breadth extreme, but it is not the outermost point, but it is, I'll explain you in this diagram in a better way. It is the innermost plating, this thing, this to this, in which the thickness of the plates are not taken into consideration. So this is the breadth molded. Breadth extreme is the outermost point and breadth molded is the innermost, not the innermost, but the inner side of the shell plating. Okay, this is outermost and this is the inner plating, inner side of the plating. Now let us read it out. Breadth molded is the width of the ship measured between the inner side of the shell plating at the widest part of the ship, usually at the midship, as I said. Now what is the difference between breadth extreme and breadth molded? Breadth extreme is the outside to outside, as I said, okay, and then includes shell plating thickness, used for practical clearances, port and berth operation. This is breadth extreme. Next is the breadth molded, which is inside to inside, inner shell plating surfaces, theoretical hull shape, hydrostatic calculation. This is basically used for calculation. Okay, this is for, as I said, width. How much wide is the ship? Can it go inside a particular canal or can it go inside a particular port? Now what is camber? This camber is nothing but it is the vertical distance between the highermost point and the lowermost point amidship. You see, is the transverse curvature of the deck measured at the highest difference between the deck line and the center line and the deck at the side, which means that if this is the highermost point and this is the lowermost point, so this is a curvature. You see, this is a curvature. This is a curvature. This is camber. Basically, this is camber. This is the higher, this is, and it is measured at midship. It is like a curve. You see, if this, my hands are deck, so this is the lowermost point on midship and this is the highermost point on the midship. So this curvature, basically this curvature is camber. And the reason why this curvature came into place for water drainage to side, prevents deck accumulation. There is no water accumulated, and it is used as safety in heavy weather. So this was all of it, the most important dimension that you have to know. I'm not telling that this is it, but there are more dimensions to cover, to learn. But this is what every cadet should know, every deck officer should know. And if you are a deck cadet and you are planning to go on and you are going on board ships, or even if you are in college and you need proper clarification and proper onboard material to learn things, how things work on ship, the deck cadet package is for you. Go take trial on the website merchantnavydecoded.com and find out how well and how good the videos are for you to perform better on board ships. And also at the end, I would like to mention this is our social media handles. If you do like, please follow us on all of these handles. Deck Officers Decoded. This is a Telegram channel where we post daily quizzes, we post facts, and I'll be posting the notes of this particular video in this Telegram group. And this is our YouTube channel and this is our Instagram page. I hope you liked the video. I hope this video was informative. Do let me know what all things did I miss out on. Mention in the comment box. And thank you for listening me patiently. Have a good day ahead.